Tim with you from Everyday Tactical Vids, back again with another review. Today we're taking a look at the Schrade SCH302. They call this a tactical folder. Let me give you some of the specs. Your blade length, 3.7 inches. Your overall length, 8.6 inches. Your blade steel, 9CR18 MOV, high carbon stainless steel. And the handle material is titanium coated textured stainless steel. Here's what the blade looks like. As you can see, Tanto-style blade, thumb stud. Here's your handle, and you can see it drops down here and then here as well, so your fingers fit very comfortably in that section. And flipping it over, coming the other way, another thumb stud. There's your pocket clip, and as you can tell, it is a frame lock. I wanted to do a quick comparison here between these three blades. On the top we have the Rat Model 2, down below that we have the Griptilian 551 from Benchmade, and then the 302 from Schrade down on the bottom. You can see size-wise the Griptilian and the 302 are pretty similar. Definitely the 302 is slightly larger. The major difference that's going to stand out when you get a hold of this knife is the weight. Check this out. 2.7, 3.8, 10.6 ounces. 2.7 ounces, 3.8 ounces, 10.6 ounces. When I picked up this knife, I thought, wow, that thing has some serious heft. So if, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, if you're looking for a blade that is super lightweight, this is not the one for you. But if you are looking for a blade that has some heft to it, definitely has some weight to it, and you can use it pretty aggressively in a variety of different applications, this could be a good option for you. When it comes to blade deployment, you got two options here. You have the thumb stud and then the finger actuator, or flipper as a lot of people call it. When it comes to using the flipper, if you do push down quite aggressively, it will swing out, but just because this access point is not, it's probably a little bit dirty just from being shipped, it needs to be lubed up, it won't just open quickly with the finger actuator. You do have to flip your wrist a little bit, and that didn't even lock up, but I'll do it one more time here. And you can see that'll lock up no problem. I didn't really have to like whip my arm, just flick the wrist a little bit, and that'll lock up quite nicely. I'll show you the thumb stud in a minute here, and they put it a little bit too close to the handle for my liking. If they'd moved it out just a little bit, that would make it a little bit easier. Again, with the flipper, it comes out just this far if you just push down a little bit. With the thumb stud, you do have to kind of push a bit to get it to move, and then swing it open and lock it into place. So both of the options work when it comes to opening up the knife. Once you do it once or twice, it gets a little bit easier. But I would generally say this is not something that's going to be really quickly deployed unless you use the finger actuator and swing it open. Now it's quickly deployed like so. But when it comes to the thumb stud, it does take a little bit of work to get comfortable with it, and then to actually swing it out and lock it up into position. Here we go with some cutting. So you can see it certainly does some work on this. The bark was already shaved off this, but just to show you what it looks like to do it on the section that has the bark on it. So that works quite well. And then some of that finer work. That's what, let's see, let's get a hand behind there. And that's what that looks like. So despite the fact that that is quite a thick blade, it seems to be able to do some of that fine work quite well. Here it is cutting through some webbing. So it makes quick work of that. A knife like this does seem to be asking for quite aggressive use just because of its stoutness, so we're going to work on the tip a little bit here in this stump. I'll show you. Let me get the right angle here. That tip does look quite good still. I have done this test on some other knives and got the tip of the knife to bend, but this one looks pretty much in brand new condition still. As we wrap up here, let's talk about uses. EDC knife, possibly. It's definitely quite heavy. For me, this is a little bit too heavy for an EDC knife. I've carried some larger EDC blades, but this one just is too heavy for me. That said, if you're out in a situation where you need a very stout, as I've called it before, utility knife that has a Tanto blade like this, that seems to be just asking for quite aggressive use, this could be the one for you. At over 10 ounces, it is going to be heftier than a lot of other EDC type knives out there, but keep that in mind. This would be the type of knife that I would throw into a bag, I'd throw in a pack, maybe keep it in my car survival / emergency kit, just as an extra backup blade that is going to be strong and going to be able to be used for a variety of different tasks. Now again, if you don't mind the extra weight, this could be a nice knife for you to be carrying around as an EDC blade. The price point is very reasonable, $20 to $25, and for me that's something I always keep in mind when I'm thinking about a knife and how I'm going to be using it. You know, if I spent a lot of money on it and I'm questioning, you know, how durable is it, I may be a little bit more gentle with it. This one is clearly ruggedly built, and because it's $20 to $25, you know, I would use it quite aggressively for different cutting tasks. And then if I had an issue with it, you know, there's two things. One, I haven't spent a ton of money on it. And secondly, Schrade is pretty good at backing up their products, so just keep that in mind when you're thinking about this knife. If I were to make any changes to this knife, I would add a lanyard hold. I would have the frame lock just lock up a little bit more centered or more toward the center. And then the other thing is the deployment. You do have to lube it, as I mentioned before, to get it to actually swing open more freely. That shouldn't be a problem once I clean it up and do that. But the thumb studs, just their location, a little bit hard to get that open. So I use the finger actuator, the flipper, and with a little bit of a flick of the wrist, you can get this to open. But those three things are relatively minor. They're not make or break deals. And again, since I'm not spending a ton of money on a blade like this, I'm not expecting it to have all the bells and whistles that maybe I want. So check it out online or at your favorite local retailer. This is the Schrade SCH302. Thanks as always for watching our videos here on Everyday Tactical Vids. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check us out on Tumblr. More videos coming soon. Take care.